How is it going? I mean, it's just getting limo rides from Putin around the Kremlin, or how? What kind of crazy attacks have you been accused of? I always love, every time we have you on your show, there's always some new insane thing you're accused of. You were wearing a Putin jacket or whatever the last one. What is it now? Putin's raincoat? Like, what are we doing now?
I think we're up to my name's not actually Suzie, and I'm not actually a New Zealander. Next it'll be I don't actually own a pug.
Well, we all know that pug is actually a Putin plant that was just put in there by Putin's secret militia or whatever to just soil my bag.
No, that didn't happen either.
I remember the closest I've ever come to being told I wasn't a real person is when I hosted the game show Strip Poker, which it's on YouTube. You can see me in some fantastic sideburns and shirts. It's really great stuff. And trimmed eyebrows, like really overly manicured eyebrows. It looked weird. It looked like I looked like a Vegas magician. But anyway, there was a review of the show by some newspaper in Minneapolis. And they were like, this show is so they were like, it's despicable, you know, people taking their clothes off. And they're like, they're like,
so you're doing this pro bono, right?
Yeah. It was pro bono, and they said what's worse than the game show itself is the species they hired to host it, created in some lab in a Hollywood basement, Graham Elwood, and they put in parentheses if that's even his real name. so
oh my god!
I literally was on ancestry.com today looking up my like Elwood's it's a family name. It goes all the way back to Ireland. Like it's real. But I was accused of not even being human, of just being some species. Like my real name was like, you know, Murray Berkowitz or something. But I came up with Graham Elwood as my like television name. And I was like, wow. So if they're doing that to game show hosts, I can only imagine what they're doing to whistleblower activists who are creating a new platform that's going to take power.
You know, those people that are like so invested in bringing you down are the ones that are like taping every episode and then doing strip poker marathon weekends. So true. They're closet friends.
I'm sure that they are. I'm sure they like would love an autographed photo or something. I would gladly do like, "Dear Deep State, best of love, Graham," or whatever.
They might have been disgruntled ex-contestants.
They lost, and I made fun of them because I made fun of the contestants a lot on that show. That's what I was hired to do.
Made a lot of friends, though.
I've made a lot of friends.
Made a lot of friends and not much money.
That just enough money to buy a little house in the valley that I later sold and turned into a condo that then Obama let the bank steal from me. So just enough.
Well, hey, you know, at least he let them steal them from millions of other people as well. You're not alone. I feel like that's truly, I'm sharing in the American experience of getting swindled by Wall Street at the hands of politicians that are paid to do it. Makes me feel very proud to be an American, Suzie. Well, for all you know, they've had to go from 7 houses to 6.
Yes, there's some billionaire that had to sell one of their summer homes, and so it's really they've all suffered.
They were in Aspen, and now they're in Maine.
Yeah, they had to sell. I mean, having to sell the Aspen house was just a tragedy, and now we can only go to Maine, and then of course summer in the Hamptons. Anyway, they're suffering, and let's all get a GoFundMe for billionaires. But I wanted to bring you back on the show because first of all, you showed myself and Annalise Garcia the latest where Panquake is at, and it's amazing. And you know, some people have been like, well, Graham, how come she's not showing it publicly? And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for all this because, and I wanted you to explain like where it's at, why you're holding it kind of close to the vest, and what is needed and how people can get involved.
It was more fun talking about strip poker.
We can weave that back in. We can weave that.
If we have to talk business, you know, I'm in the business of putting big tech out of business, and people like you are helping me to do that. And I really appreciate that, because God knows we need a lifeboat away from big tech. You're right. Basically, our fundraiser was vastly more successful than we expected it to be January through May, because people really got this idea. They really want emancipation. They really want liberation from the spying, from the stealing of our data and the monetizing of our data and it being sold to everybody from God knows what peanut butter company to the freaking FBI, right? Like across the board, we're being turned into products and then sold, and we're not making anything off it. And this is our chance. Panquake.com is the only chance I know of for us to have a real viable alternative, one that protects our privacy in all regards, and protects our freedom of speech and our ability to build and grow a following and to communicate with them. And because of our fundraising gaining so much steam so quickly, we were able to bring on a lot of developers and really drive the development forward. And subsequently, we have developed much faster than I anticipated that we would. We have really moved very, very quickly, much more quickly actually than a regular commercial build, which I have experience with in the past, and they do not move this quickly at all. So the combination of being well-resourced from the public and the passion of the people who are involved in the project, who are really dedicated to the ethos of the company and to what we are bringing to users around the world, the incredible importance of this product, that we have produced the most high quality design that is imaginable to me as a commercial software development manager in this tiny space of time. However, because I was knuckling down and pushing the development of the product, I wasn't doing a whole lot of marketing. I really wanted to make sure that we didn't end up with a bunch of fundraising and no product. So now we have an extremely advanced development project that is at the point where I have been able to do these presentations to influencers and friends of ours, content creators, and get to show them both the front end and the back end of the application and where we're at in the build phase. But now I have to get my butt back on hot little shows like this and say, guys, we've done so well up until this point, but it's time to push this across the line. We need another $39,000 to complete the funding round for the beta development build. And I know you all want this product as much as we want to give it to you. And for us to give it to you, we need to push through to that 100% on gogetfunding.com/Panquake ASAP. I really want us there by June 26th. So I'm going to be doing media all week this long, and then next week, I'm not going to talk too much about what's happening, but there is some really big stuff happening for Panquake next week. We're pushing out some projects we've worked on for a long time that are going to provide even more value to our community. So you're going to see and hear a lot more about us in the coming days, in the coming weeks, because we want to push through to that 100%. And then we are going to be able to release the final phase of our campaign. So we had our initial phase, which was just to set up the business and establish the structure. The second phase that we're in right now, we're at about, I think we're at 67. No, hang on, we must be more than that. I think we're 76% funded in this round. We've got to get to 100. And then we have phase 3, which is the rollout round. That's where we actually raise the funds to hire content moderators, to hire staff to support the users, to do the help channels and support channels for users, to do all that extra stuff that will help us to support our user base when we launch the beta. So we are so close, like the end is in sight, and I need everybody right now. If you can't donate, I understand, but we need your voice. We need you to speak up everywhere and spread the word. Panquake is real. Panquake is happening. Panquake is coming to you. It wasn't just a pipe dream. It's a viable software application that is going to transform our lives. And we need to just get this done now. So panquake.com, hit that donate button, or gogetfunding.com/Panquake, and let's do it.
Yeah, it's important for people to understand too. One of the reasons you don't want to just show the beta online is then some big tech company could steal that and then try to squash it, because they do not want you to succeed. And that's why there's these smear campaigns and saying you're whatever, your real name isn't Suzie, and you know, whatever, you're not from New Zealand. So that's like fantastic acting, by the way, learning this Kiwi accent and just hitting it spot on. I mean, that's just really amazing. That's so much money that they've spent to get that and hire the fake kids, you know, actors that play your kids that were there when I visited. I mean, it's really amazing what you've gone through. Like
all that, and I can build software too.
It's funny, like if you had the money to do all these things that they've accused you of, you could just finance Panquake yourself. You wouldn't need
liposuction.
You could like oh, it's so hilarious to me. These accusations just make no sense. But and if anyone wants to ask Suzie some questions, go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood and put some tips in there. If you have some legitimate questions to ask about the functionality of Panquake, we'll answer those in a little bit. But I wanted to point out the last time so I've seen several beta versions that you showed me. The most recent one, like I said, was a couple of weeks ago with Annalise. And you've put this stuff in there to where, because everyone has these legitimate questions, because we've all been sort of burned before of like, well, what's to prevent a big tech company from just, you know, what they do on Twitter, come in and they buy up bots or whatever. And they all of a sudden they have 1 million followers and their tweets get pushed out further than the regular person or just a comedian like me that, you know, I've got 38,000 or 5,000 Twitter followers or whatever. And I'm sure they've suppressed that number, but you know, you've built in these Panquake, the Thunderquakes, and you can only give them to other people. Like, it's really fantastic how you've structured. I don't want to go too much into it, but like to where you have all of these basically measures in there to where no one can come in and get more leverage or more followers and have their like tweets go out to a wider audience just because you have all these things in place. So you come in and pay, and if it's the CIA or CNN or Bill Maher or whatever propaganda liar wants to come on Panquake, they can pay $5 a month just like everybody else. And that's the other thing too. The community determines in the way you've structured Panquake how this is done, so that if someone proves themselves to be a bad actor, everyone will go, okay, I'm not. Everyone can just pull back, and then that person is done. That account will just sit there and stagnate. There's nothing they can do about it, and they can't go to the CEO and say, hey, we're going to replace you with a guy from MI6 like Twitter's done. And so like the intelligence community can't get this, which is, and I mean, when you were showing it to me last time, I'm like, oh my God, just as I wish this thing was going to be done by the time Ron and I go on the road in September to help promote the shows, because that's such a thing. I've had this, and every comedian will tell you this. I got shows, I put them on Instagram and Facebook, and I put it out there. And then someone always says, oh man, I didn't know you had a show. And it's like, were they just not paying attention, or
this is controlling your ability to access your audience? That's what it comes down to. You put all this effort into building a following, building an audience, and someone else is determining whether or not you can access them. Do you want me to grab a headset, by the way? Because I can hear it in the echo.
What's that?
Would you like me to grab a headset? Because I can hear an echo.
Yes.
I think it might help. Be right back.
All right. All right, we're hearing a slight echo. Is anyone else hearing the echo? Kate, are you hearing an echo? It doesn't sound, I'm not seeing it in the chat. Maybe it's just Suzie.
I think Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can. There we go.
Oh, cool. That's a much better sound for me too. Hopefully that helps.
There it is.
Yeah, so we do have like cool new functionality on Panquake, because we didn't just want to be like, oh, you know, we protect your data, you get more privacy with us, but actually we don't, you know, cut the mustard in terms of functionality. So we went totally the other way, and we developed a functionality set that doesn't exist anywhere else on the internet, that isn't in any other social media applications. And you've got to see that functionality. I've talked a bit about it in delivery meetings and in our original launch event.
But some of the things that you can do with Panquake functionality is if you've got an account that you really 100% trust, and you know that 100% of the time you want to share the information from that account, you can literally click one button and that account, every time it posts, will auto share its content to your timeline, even if you're offline. So like if you really love Graham Elwood, you can click Love Quake on Graham Elwood, and then you can go to bed, you can go on holiday, and Graham Elwood's content is still going to show up on your timeline. So it's like a super, super, super cool feature, which means for those of us who are persistent retweeters like myself, who will sit and go retweet up and down like WikiLeaks timeline or whoever, you get all of that time back. You don't have to sit there doing that anymore. You just turn Lovequake on, and then if for some reason, you know, there's sharing some stuff that doesn't interest you, turn Lovequake off. No problem, taken care of. And like that's one of the smaller features that we have, but it's actually huge in terms of the time that it saves and the relationship building aspect as well. So it's pretty cool.
I love that too, because I look at like, I spent all this money to buy basically followers for my Facebook fan page. This is several years ago. This is maybe 6-7 years ago. And you could do it through Facebook. It was like paid advertising, not bots, but paid advertising through Facebook. And I got like 10,000 followers to my Graham Elwood fan page, right? And I was like, okay, great. And then when I post, then they changed this thing. So then when I started posting like, hey, I've got this show coming up, they're like, oh, do you want to pay to boost this post? So it's not going to all of my 10,000 followers. People who want to follow me want to know when I have a live show, and I can't get to them, even though I paid Facebook to acquire many of these people. It was just
they're selling your own followers back to you. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, they have unbelievable balls, honestly. Unbelievable. And people have just been conditioned to accept it by and large. And it's so wrong what they do to us. And if you knew half of what they did to us behind the scenes, you would be absolutely mortified. And Panquake just eradicates all of that. So with Thunderquakes, for example, another one of our new functionality sets that you mentioned, Thunderquakes allow you to send a special message that triggers a notification to your entire follower base. So you have that big show coming up that you really care about and you really want your followers to know about it. You pre-schedule your message, your announcement about that show. You say, okay, on June 30th at 9 a.m., I want this message to go out. And all your followers get a notification that says, Graham Elwood wants to send this message on June 30th at 9 a.m. Do you want to help Graham spread this message? And shows them what it is. And every single one of your followers who says yes, then on June 30th at 9 a.m., that message isn't just going to your timeline, it's going to the timeline simultaneously of every single one of your followers who said, yes, I want to help Graham spread this message. And if they don't want to, if they're like, oh, I don't really care about this message, they just hit no and it just disappears off their notifications. So it's no skin off their nose. What do they care? But for you, it means your message could fire out not just from your timeline, but from thousands or tens of thousands of other timelines simultaneously, which is just absolutely massive.
Yeah, so it's doing the thing.
Thunderous.
Yeah, it is
thunderous.
It's doing the thing that we all like thought and were sold that other social media was going to do, but then they thwart it. They hinder it. They hold your tweets back or your Facebook post, whatever back, and it's just like, I mean. This is why this Panquake is so like revolutionary, like not even just as a YouTuber, but as a live performer. When you showed me this with the Thunderquake feature, and that I can't just give myself Thunderquakes, they have to be given their value.
You can't buy them. You can't buy them off us. Like there's nothing. We want you $5 a month and nothing else. We won't take any money for you for any other reason or from anyone else. You're absolutely correct. I mean, so even companies I find completely despicable. Boeing wants a Panquake account. They got to pay $5 a month, and the only people they're going to be able to market to are the people they can convince to follow them. And if you don't follow Boeing, you are never going to see Boeing shit ever. It will never be on your timeline. Yeah. So that's it. And the timeline itself on Panquake is so flexible. It has sets of content filters on visible at all times. that you can just switch on and off, switch on and off, switch on and off, and to change what is showing on your timeline without having to go to a separate page, without having to go into like account settings or some nonsense. It's just literally on the timeline, and you just set it to what you want that timeline to display. So you want to see the content by your followers, you have your followers switched on. You want to see the content by your followers and the people you're following, you switch that on. You only want the content for the people you're following, you switch that on. You want to see your content in there too, you switch my content on. And you just mess with it, just turn things on and off to get different results on your timeline. And like, if it annoys you when people you follow like or retweet stuff that you wouldn't want to see, just switch that off, and then all you see is just the raw content from the people you follow and not the retweets and the likes and everything else. So it's hyper flexible. You literally control what you see on the screen, and so you're never subjected to any of this nonsense. No advertising, no Boeing ads, no CIA nonsense, nothing.
Yeah, and cool. The other thing too you guys have put in there, because it's blockchain, is that if someone does violate, because people always ask, well, are they going to just randomly kick people off like Twitter has done? And it's like, no, if somebody is posting like something that's illegal, like child pornography, or I'm going to come kill you, or some threat that's against the law, you guys would remove that person. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's also on the blockchain. So it's not done behind closed doors. We can go to the blockchain and see, oh, Panquake removed this person for these clear violations, not just like, oh, we don't like this person's opinion, and everyone can see it. There's no like, how come this just happened behind closed doors, right?
Exactly. So we've hard coded it in such a way that moderation actions require justification, that justification is publicly accessible, as well as the metadata of the moderation action. So the what, who, when, where, how, and why, who did we do it to? Who in Panquake did it? Why did they do it? What did they do it to? What was the action taken? Was it just content removal, or was it an account suspension, or was it an account ban, or what was it? When did it happen? On which day, at what time did it happen? Why did it happen? This is all the unknowns of Twitter and Facebook moderation. You have no friggin' idea what to who, when, where, why. You just don't know. You just get these form emails that are insulting and their lack of detail.
Like I said at the top of this show, I mean, so I've been demonetized from YouTube since February 1st. March 3rd, I hit this, I clicked the submit, what do they call it? It's the appeal. And all I get is this note. I didn't get an email. I didn't know what it calls, nothing. Just to say your appeal will take up to 30 to 60 days. That was 4 months ago. Like, it's June now. I have nothing. I got a copyright strike on a video I put out July of 2020. I went to their copyright school, which is you watch this ridiculous video that's like made for 5-year-olds and answer some questions. And they're saying my copyright strike will be removed August 2nd because I went to copyright school. Like this is the only information I'm given is this vague thing from this like giant corporation. And this was I mean,
I think they're trying to break up with you, Graham.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. And it's why I've had to go so hard into Rockfin. And it's so frustrating because they just deliberately they wanted to silence me. They don't want me to put out these videos. They did it to Annalise and other people. They've even done it to some big shows I've heard with not necessarily in the political space, but with millions of followers. And it's like this could happen to any time. They could just.
Because you don't even know. Yeah. I mean, most of the time, like you don't know if they're rolling back the number of likes. You don't know what they're really doing, what they're really tinkering with behind the scenes. I mean, you don't know how many followers Jimmy's lost in a week or in a month that Jimmy doesn't even know he's lost. There's just no transparency. They could be doing anything. For all we know, Jimmy does get 3 million hits a video. Like, for all we know, Jimmy does have 3 million people who've clicked follow or subscribe. Like, we just don't know. It's like they manufacture this environment that they want people to think is real, but we have no ability to verify that. And that's the opposite of Panquake. On Panquake, everything is verifiable. How many messages you sent, what the content of those messages was, how many people clicked reply, how many clicked like, how many clicked follow, who sent you a Thunderquake point, who love quaked your account. These things are all verifiable. There's no maybe Panquake this or maybe Panquake that. It's there. It's either there or it's not there. It's on the blockchain. If it's not there, we didn't do it. If it is there, we did it, and everyone knows. That's what real transparency is.
Yeah, and I think it's important for the audience to know that, like, why there is a little bit of a race against the clock, because they really don't want this to happen. Look, they can control everything with YouTube, with Twitter, Facebook, Google. I mean, they can control everything, and that's what they want, is total control. And the internet has always been this sort of wild stallion that they couldn't tame, and they've been trying to do that. And that's why they really do not want Panquake out there, because they can't infiltrate it. They can't subvert it. They can't take it over. They can't just, Boeing can't come in and go, well, we're going to cut you a big check and make sure our tweets or our pancakes are going to be on the timeline more than Graham Elwood's anti-war bullshit. Like they can't do that. And they know this. And so that's why it's so important for people like to go to panquake.com and donate. And if money's tight, I get it. We've all just went through a pandemic and losing work, but at least push it out on your social media and let people know how important this is. Because we've
got 0 advertising agencies working for us, 0. We have no digital marketing companies working for us. We have no paid advertising. We don't spend $1 on Twitter or Facebook ads. We never would. Ideologically, we won't do it. Morally, we won't do it. But we are literally spending 100% of our money on building this product. And this is a product that would cost millions and millions and millions of dollars to do in the commercial space. And the only reason that I'm able to do it for much less than that is because of the good-hearted, dedicated people that I know who have thrown everything they have, all the skills and spare time they have at pushing this project forward. But it still does cost money. You talk about like the, various ways that they could come at us or try and shut us down. We have gone to lengths that you would not believe to pre-plan to make sure that can't happen, to make sure this business is sustainable and not just the product is sustainable, but the structure behind it. We just registered in our 3rd country, all of which are outside of the reach of the US. So we have gone to great lengths to make sure that we have a legal and financial framework that will keep us away from the people who don't want you to have freedom of communications, and from the people who want to keep manipulating your relationships and your ability to communicate online. But we need your support. We're 100% user-funded, user-supported, people-powered. We're 100% by and for the people. And ultimately, we need you to get us across the line. We need you to continue to support us so that we can get this into your hands, and then that we can support it in the way that we want our users to be supported post-rollout. Because it's really important to us that we're not just giving you a superior product and a superior model, but that we're also giving you superior support. Like, we want you talking to real people 100% of the time. We are algorithm free. We are artificial intelligence free. We don't use any of that. The moderation will be real people. The user support will be real people 100% of the time. So yeah, please back us. And be warned, actually, this is something I haven't had a chance to talk about yet. We probably will be putting a formal campaign announcement about it out in the next few days. But PayPal is giving us grief at the moment. Unsurprisingly, giving us a lot of problems. And we are back and forth trying to negotiate with them, but they have not been releasing our funds to us. So if you're going to donate to us, please do so via credit card, via Stripe on gogetfunding.com/Panquake. Don't give us money through PayPal until I can confirm that they're actually going to either give the money back to our donors that they've collected or release it to us. So just be aware of that. If PayPal don't sort their proverbial out in the next couple of days, I will be cutting their integration off from our funding campaign entirely and letting everybody know not to go near them with a barge pole, because we're certainly not the first project that is a human rights or activism project which has been mucked with by PayPal.
Yeah, they're definitely, this is not the first time they've they've pulled the plug on people that the state doesn't want.
Exactly.
Doesn't want
exactly. So yeah, just heads up about that.
Well, that's good to know.
That's to be expected, you know. Like, it's not just the smears. We've had DDoS attacks. Our hosting provider in Iceland has been attacked, as well as our domains have been attacked. You name it. You know, we've had people trying to pressure our endorsers not to endorse us. We've had insane, bizarre stories about me or about Panquake. I mean, it was only like 2 weeks ago they were trying to pretend Panquake didn't exist, but then they realized that so many endorsers and influencers have seen Panquake for themselves now. They've kind of had to like quickly throw that smear out the window and like come up with a new one because that one's not sustainable anymore.
Yeah, they just going down the list of insane smears. But let's answer a few. You got time to answer a few questions from the?
I do, but can I just ask you one question first, and then I'll answer any questions that anyone wants to ask me. What I want to know from you, because I'm particularly interested, because this has been my baby. What did you think about the look of Panquake, of the user interface? Like, you don't have to describe it in detail because it's kind of a hot secret, but what were your general impressions of like just the quality of the interface?
Well, first of all, it just visually, it was very impressive, very clearly laid out. I was like, this is awesome. And when you just were pointing out, like, this is what a Thunderquake would look like, this is what your timeline would look like, I was like, wow, it's filled with stuff that I would want, not bullshit. Not like, why am I getting the NSA? Why is the NSA's tweet showing up on my timeline? Like, so that's the thing that really stood out to me. And then just from the layout and how easy it was functionality wise, just, easy to click this, click that. Like it all made it was very, I guess you call it intuitive. It was very easy for me to use, and I'm not a big tech person. And then again, as we discussed, when you explained the power and value of the Thunderquake, so that's when the light went off for me, and I was like, as a performer, this will be huge, because I don't want to inundate my followers with come to my show, come to my show, come to my show. They're going to be like, yeah, we got it. But the fact that the Thunderquake is this like rarely used thing, so when it does come out, it's like, oh, this is big, and I can just put this thing and people can see all these tour dates and they're going to get it and they can click and go buy tickets. I'm like, I literally said to you, this is going to help sell tickets. Like every performer, and that's the other thing too, why once it's up and running and I'm using it and Jimmy Dore's using it, Ron Placone and Lee Camp and Steph Zamorano, we're all comedians using it to sell tickets to shows. And then I'll be able to tell my friends, my comedy friends, you got to go to you got to go to Panquake. They'll be like, what? I'll be like, and I will be able to explain it. I'll be able to say, look, I put these Thunderquakes out. It jumped our ticket sales by this percentage. I mean, I can say like people are finding our shows because they are subscribing. I go, it's the best $5 a month you'll ever spend. And then I think it'll just be, then I just think the floodgates will open personally.
That makes me so happy to hear. Did you like the colors? That's what I really want to know.
I love the colors. I love the colors of it. It stands out. It makes it unique. And, the fact that when you first announced this back in January, a lot of people, fans of this show just started putting the Panquake logo in their, as their avatar, which was just like, or their profile photo or whatever, was like, man, that to me says, A, that it's a cool logo and a cool color scheme that just is eye grabbing and catches people. And so, that's what I felt. I mean, just the logo and when you first saw it, and then seeing the layout of it when you showed me the beta version a couple weeks ago, I'm excited for this.
I am excited too. I just can't wait to bring it to everyone. It's still going to be a ways yet. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but we're making massive progress every single month. And if you're watching our monthly delivery meetings, our next one is on the 26th of this month. Every month we come back and show people, this is what we achieved this month. This is what we said last month we're going to do. Here it is. And here's what we're going to do next month. And we just keep on trucking and progressing. And it's been brilliant. But okay, hit me with the questions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Graham Elwood. You're watching The Political Vigilante. Like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. I'm here with Suzie Dawson, the creator of Panquake, and we're going to go to people who are at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. And if you do a tip, I will absolutely answer that question. This one is from Matt S. Matt, thank you for supporting our show. Just curious if you could give 3 to 5 points on how Panquake is beneficial over Twitter.
One, it doesn't lie to you. I think that's number one. Twitter lies to you. I don't know how else to say it. The statistics they report are false. They've admitted, their own security specialists are admitting that they are meddling with people's metrics and that they're choosing what people will see and their metrics and what they won't. Panquake is 100% provable, trustable, verifiable data about your account. You know your followers are actually your followers and no one's messing with it. Number two, Panquake is fun. And Graham will be able to speak to this in the design. It's cute as hell. It's like, if you want to make stacks of custom messages, like you want to take the best messages of the day or about a topic or whatever, you just hit these little pancake buttons, these little stacks of pancakes, and just go click, 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 click on the best stuff, and then hit the stack button, and it just pops you up a link. You can take that link, you can post it anywhere on the internet, or you can post it back on your timeline. Anyone who clicks on that link is coming to a panquake.com timeline with just the messages that you picked that you wanted to show them. So there's some, you go to some rock concert, you get all the cool photos and commentary, whatever, or you're covering some court hearing, you get the journalists on the ground, the best stuff from the day, you stack it all into one link, email it to someone, SMS it to someone, post it on Twitter, post it on Panquake, post it wherever you want, and you're coming there. So it's super fun. It's actually cute. It's visibly cute, and it's been designed like that. And there's lots of gamification features, like stuff that you get one of per day, one special thing you can do once per day, and things like that. The third thing is it doesn't addict you to the platform. So all of the gamification features are deliberately designed in such a way that the benefits you get from them, you can get from only 5 or 10 minutes a day of usage. It doesn't in any way reward you for spending 8, 10, 12, 15 hours a day on the platform. Once you've done those first few things in your 5, 10 minutes, you're actually done, because we don't want to addict people to the platform. It's cute and it's fun and it saves you heaps of time. We don't want to addict people. There's no benefit for us either. There's no financial gain in it. We just want $5 a month. We don't want you to spend 20 hours a day on the platform. We want you to have a good, healthy experience and not to have negative impacts from it. The fourth thing is that it is ethical. Every aspect of the system is ethical, from it being hosted on geothermal to it using a blockchain which runs a proof of authority consensus algorithm, which means it does not require mining. We don't need computers solving nonsense equations all day, every day, and using massive amounts of power in order to operate a blockchain. It's ethical and it's designed, like I said, it deliberately makes sure we're not going to addict people to the platform. We're not rewarding them for overuse or anything like that. And also all the cool functions like the Thunderquake and Quakes and other things are all based around this concept of gifting things to other people, finding people you like and want to build a relationship with and giving them something so they feel good about you and you feel good about them. So it's really all about relationship building. And trying to form really positive and strong ties between people and to produce for other people and not just be taking, but actually be giving. And the fifth thing is the people behind it are just amazing. The team that's involved, and it's not even just the big high profile people, and we're really lucky because they've given us a platform. If we didn't have all the people who backed our launch, we probably wouldn't have been as successful at our launch as we were. But the people you haven't heard about, the people whose names you don't know, are giving their heart and soul to make Panquake happen. And they have been for, at most of them, the last 6 months, some of them the last 8 or 9 months, because we started planning this October last year. So I want to shout out those people because every single person on our team is a gorgeous, beautiful human being who really wants this to happen for the right reasons. And when you're donating to get this project over the line, you are helping me to reward them for all of their work so that they are not just pouring volunteer hours in for nothing, but they're actually receiving fair pay for the fair hours that they work. So that's a big part of what we're trying to do, is to build an ethical workforce as well as to deliver an ethical product.
Those are pretty solid reasons. That's awesome.
Did that answer the question?
I think you did. I think you very concisely answered the question. This is more of a statement. MHC, thank you for supporting our show. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. It feels like the floodgates holding back a political, social, and technological a renaissance rather, could be about to dramatically open, or at least I'm hoping so. Yeah, that's a great comment. And I think it's stuff because, it's one of the reasons my Rockfin numbers have gone up since I've been, demonetized and censored by YouTube, and a lot more bigger name people are coming to Rockfin. But I also think Panquake is a huge ingredient in this. And how do you see that, Suzie, with how when Panquake is launched and people start to see its functionality and how honest and open and transparent it is? Where do you see that going in this renaissance, this technological renaissance that MHC is showing? Because I think like we're seeing these little glimpses, like, you and I have talked about like the Wall Street bets thing, what they did with GameStop was one of the most revolutionary things I've ever seen in my life. And nobody got hurt. There was no tear gas. Nobody got arrested. And it just, and I think like people are starting to realize, and we've talked about the power of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, but like Bitcoin is going to be pulling people in poor third world countries out of poverty, and the 1% isn't going to own everything. They're trying to, like, deliberately nosediving Bitcoin's price, manipulating it so they can buy up more, but there's more people paying attention. So anyway, how do you see Panquake fitting into this, like, the dawn of this technological renaissance that could help even the playing field for the people of the world against the 1%?
Well, let's be honest, Panquake is leading. I mean, that's a fact. We didn't even intend it to lead, but we just deliberately chose to do something different from top to bottom. It would have been really easy to just like copy a Twitter and make a couple of changes, and then try and sell those changes. But we wanted a different business model and a different commercialization model and a different everything, different functionality models, different everything. And like what? We were like 4 to 6 weeks after Panquake's launch. I mean, when we first launched, it was anathema to even talk about charging a monthly fee for social media. It was like, I was told over and over again, this will never work. No one will accept this, blah, 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 blah. Until we launched and we said, this is why we're charging. We're charging because you're now the customer. You're not the product anymore. You're the customer. Everything we do is going to be to serve you. Everything we do is going to be in your interest. And it costs $5 a month. And people got it. And it was like 6 weeks after that, all of a sudden we see these like rush screenshots dropped by Twitter, like, oh yes, actually we're going to start charging, offering subscriptions per month, blah, 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 blah. It's so great. Like now you can pay to get spied on by Twitter. Now you can pay. Now you can pay for them to steal your data. Like you can pay for them to like spy on all your different browser tabs that you have open, and you can pay for them to stick the NSA on your timeline. You can pay for all of this, because the penny hasn't quite dropped for them that there's something that goes with the charging per month, and that's ethics. Like you have to actually have them for it to be worth the $5 a month. So they're already trying to copy us. I mean, there's no friggin' way that came out of nowhere. No way. Like no way. And so Panquake will continue to lead. I mean, Panquake is not the only product we're going to be producing. I won't say any more than that. Panquake is going to innovate the fuck out of the social media space. And others will come in our wake, following after us with inferior copies of what we do. But they can't ever beat the innovator. The person who has the ideas, the organization that can action those ideas, is always going to be lighter on its feet and 2 steps ahead than the corporate imitators.
Okay. I love that. I love that answer. Let's see what else we've got here. Jim Garrison, you were a bad boy, Graham Elwood. Yeah, sure. I know. We had some stuff. Denny McCarthy, thank you so much for supporting the show. Doc Terminus, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Doc, thank you for supporting our show. Can you talk a little bit about Bill Binney's involvement? That guy's story is fascinating to me.
I'll tell you that Bill Binney is the reason that we're charging $5 a month. My original, I don't know if I'm telling tales out of school now. My original business plan was $3 a month because I specced out exactly what it's going to cost us. And I thought, okay, we can do this for $3 a month. And I talked to Bill about it, and he said, "You're going to have," this is a direct quote, "you're going to have legal bills."
Wow.
Charge $5 a month. Honest to God, he's like, charge $5 a month and put $2 a month in the bank.
Wow, that is some old sage whistleblower.
Yeah, exactly. I can't really talk a whole lot about Bill Binney's involvement. Bill Binney's involvement, his major contribution has been around architecture and his areas of specialization, which are cryptography. And I would be talking way out of school to get into any specifics on that. What I can tell you is that he has brilliant ideas that no one has ever thought of, and he has knowledge like whoa. And he also gave me some really good advice on how to operationally scale the organization, because we are in a situation where it's one thing to have like 10 paid staff and 20 volunteer staff and be on this development project. It'll be another thing when we're supporting 5,000 users in the beta. We're going to need more staff. And then 25,000 users in the 1.1. We're going to need more staff. And then 100,000 users, and then 1 million users. One of the most interesting things that I did was study all the alternative social media platforms. And I discovered that even the like really crappy ones, which people consider to generally be a failure, had between 3 and 5 million users. And the decent ones, which had a pretty solid community that were considered like good niche products, had 30 million users. And then the like established big ones are 65 million users. And then the like giants are 300 plus million users. To go from 5,000, 25,000, 100,000 users to 3 million users is going to take us a lot. Like you're looking at like 15 moderators per 100,000 users. We're going to need like 150 moderators per million. You're looking at a lot of staff. And so you have to scale the organization and not just the product. Like, yes, we have to scale technologically, and we do we're doing groundwork around that already right now. We have to constantly plan and build for the future. Well, I mean, we're already working on our second release and not just our first release, because we need to have already done that groundwork. We can't just like build the first one and then think about the second one. It all has to happen concurrently. So Bill has a very unique experience at very big, giant scale organizations and on technological products which have trillions of pieces of data moving through a network and millions of users. So his experience is far beyond what mine ever will be in this lifetime. And having people like him, and also people like Sean O'Brien. Sean is like one of the foremost privacy and security experts on the face of this planet. Extremely well respected. Sean, I don't know how much he'd appreciate me saying either. Sean has basically saved activists' lives. I mean, Sean is a very conscientious and ethical security expert that does everything he can to protect whistleblowers, activists, and others, and to lecture in the academic space to teach other people to do it as well. Having people like that at my fingertips and working with me on a daily basis is beyond what I could ever dream, but it's also what I've needed in order to be able to even attempt something like this. So I'm really, really lucky. Really lucky.
I mean, when you first told me about it, I was like, this is awesome. And then you're like, hey, Bill Binney's interested in this project. And I was like, that's all I needed to hear, was that he's going to just offer, even just him offering a handful of just ideas. I'm like, that already sets it apart when one of the world's best cryptographers is involved in this, and knowing how the intelligence community operates and knowing what their tactics are. And I mean, just to like set aside $2 extra for legal costs as a guy that's been through that knows how they attack and how they smear and how they try to infiltrate. That's what makes that so critical.
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing what I don't know is really important. And then leaning on other people who do know it is one of the best things that I can do. Absolutely. It's my responsibility.
Yeah, that's how you assemble a good team, is when you first acknowledge, well, this is all the stuff I don't know that I need help with. And then you get really solid people in those positions. That's when you make something great, which is what I think this is. Corey Kinzervik, shave your knuckles for justice. You mentioned anything that is illegal. Say a whistleblower follows the wonderful example of Assange. Would that person get kicked off?
Everything that Julian Assange did is protected under the First Amendment, regardless of whether or not certain administrations have made spurious and untested in court assessments that the First Amendment does not apply. If you want to prosecute somebody using US laws, you cannot deny them the protections of US laws.
I know that's such a great point. I mean, this is a great question, but it's like it goes into, it shows again, this question, your answer to this question reveals how illegal it is what they're doing to Julian Assange. So you are protected under the First Amendment. Like, again, I used the Capitol, the January 6th Capitol is such a great example. You have the right to protest. You have the right to peacefully assemble. You have the right, as far as I understand, in Washington, D.C., to carry a firearm, which many people did. You do not have the right to smash into a building that's closed, a federal building or any building that's closed, and then try to take it over. Those laws are already on the books. You don't need new laws to say, and you can say whatever crazy hate speech you want to say. So the people that are being you don't need new laws for what happened on January 6th. You have breaking and entry. You have laws about federal buildings and coming in a federal building with a firearm. There's all these laws already on the books. So it's like, if anyone's saying, again, people think I can say anything, everything's covered under the First Amendment. No, it's not. Here's what's not protected by freedom of speech. I'm going to kill you. That's not protected. I hope you die. That is protected. So that right there, the laws are already on the books, which is how you guys will do Panquake. So again, like, I don't like everyone, whatever. Like I hate Asians. Okay, that's protected speech. I want to kill all of them. Hey, everybody, let's go kill them. That's not protected speech. Those laws are already there, which is what you will be enforcing, right?
Absolutely. And also, I mean, I do think that there is some allowances to be made for acts of moral courage that are clearly in the public interest. And, Edward Snowden has a great quote about it, which I will totally fudge and misquote. But basically, he says, if an act of good conscience is illegal, then it's the laws that need to be changed.
Yeah.
And I think that's, totally the case.
Yeah. I mean, pulling down a Christopher Columbus statue is technically a crime. You're defacing public property, but he was a genocidal maniac by his own words. Probably one of the original Epsteins by his own journal. So, someone pulls down.
There's nobody who commits more crimes than the freaking FBI.
Yeah.
And all these situations that you're referencing, they had FBI fingerprints all over them. Just like every so-called terrorist attack has FBI fingerprints all over it. The things that these guys talk about doing in their own training manuals, which are available online, are more shocking than any crime you're going to see in your suburb. It's just unreal. And just like the biggest circulators of disinformation in the world, of misinformation, are the freaking intelligence agencies. They literally hire people with PhDs to design that disinformation and misinformation. And then they blast it through all the airwaves every day, protected by the law. So, I'd like to see these things contextually. It's not just black or white. Those who are the first to talk about the rule of law are quite often those who are most frequently breaking it.
Yeah, breaking their own laws or whatever, or they get their own separate set of laws that they get to do.
Will we act to protect people from material harm? Yes, we will. Will we act to protect children? In a heartbeat, without hesitation. Will we go after whistleblowers? Hell no. Come on now. Look at the record of everyone who's involved in this project.
Right. We're not going to go after whistleblowers on a platform created by whistleblowers.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we'll do one more because I know it's getting late where you're at. MHC, thank you for supporting our show. Will Panquake allow its users to share their content to non-users? Current social media is mixed on this, with Twitter allowing it, but Facebook requiring logging in first.
Sorry, one more time. I got the second half of that, not the beginning.
Okay. Will Panquake allow its users to share their content to non-users? Current social media is mixed on this, with Twitter allowing it, but Facebook requiring logging in first.
So when you land on Panquake.com, even if you're not a registered user, Panquake assigns you like a random profile picture, a random username, and lets you use the platform without signing up, without registering. So you can actually use Panquake as a unknown, anonymous, unregistered user who hasn't paid anything. You won't be able to earn Thunderquake points, you won't be able to use special functionality, but the basic stuff like searching for content or replying to something or clicking like or following an account, you can do without actually registering. But if you want to post new content to the blockchain or accrue a following or use the special stuff, you do need to register and pay the $5 a month. What you're talking about, I think, is off-platform sharing, where you share content from Panquake off to other networks. We allow the sharing to all types of networks, to email, to SMS, to any other social media platform, wherever you want to put Panquake links, you can. And we also ingest without discrimination links from all other platforms. So if you post a Twitter link on our platform or a Facebook link on our platform or a Panquake link on our platform, they are all treated equally. We do not have any algorithm sorting content or defining content or making it more or less visible. There is no grading of content on our platform in terms of the domain or subdomains that are within that link. So we have a flat out no link discrimination policy. Every link will get treated the same, regardless of whether it's some small blog from God knows where, or it's CNN.com, or regardless of whether it's twitter.com/status whatever, or panquake.com/status whatever. It all has the same level of visibility on the platform, the same weight.
Man, that is fantastic. That's such a cool thing. But you really thought all of this through. Because I didn't even like, that's something I didn't even like think about. But yeah, of course, that's what they do. They grade this. They decide what articles you can and cannot post or whatever. And
or how many people are allowed to view the post that contains that link, which is we are ethically against that type of practice.
Yeah, and it's like people go, "Oh, what if a bunch of right wingers, come on to Panquake?" Don't follow them. Don't
follow them. That's exactly right. If Boeing comes on Panquake, I can tell you for free, I'm not following them.
Yeah.
I won't be following anyone that follows them either. But they can live and let live. I mean, this is my general policy. Like, if somebody is not actively harming you directly, live and let live.
Yeah. That's the thing. They're entitled. I mean, I say this all the time. Just don't follow them. I don't follow, I don't follow anyone.
I do really look. I must admit, I do have dreams of being able to ban some US military account for threatening violence on the next country they want to invade or something. Be like, hey, sorry, no threats of violence on our platform. You've been suspended for 6 months.
I'm down with that for sure.
I must admit, I have fantasies about that.
I'm so on board with you.
Payback's a bitch.
Yeah, censoring the big fucking military outlets and just being like, "Oh, sorry, CIA, sorry."
You can't put videos with rock music showing you annihilating people with your mother of all bombs. Sorry, that's violent communications.
Oh, sorry. Here's a police department showing footage of beating the shit out of peaceful protesters. Sorry, that's advocating violence. You're off the platform. That's oh my God, Suzie.
We'll not take them off the platform. We'll just give them how many months? What are you on? 5 months with YouTube? That sounds about right. Give them a 5 month suspension.
Well, this is fantastic. So, Suzie, thank you so much for coming on today. And again, just tell people where they go. They just go to panquake.com, correct?
Panquake.com, hit that donate button, get us to 100% by June 26th. I'll be over the moon so that we can kick off the delivery phase. Thank you so much, everybody.
Awesome. And Kate, can you put that link up in bold right on the screen? We would appreciate that. Well, Suzie, here, I'll go there. I'll put that on the screen. So Suzie, thanks again for coming on. I know it's late when you come on the show, and which is why you didn't have any sympathy for me when I had to get up at 4 in the morning.
When you failed to get up at 4.
And I slept through and was supposed to be on crosstalk with you and Peter Lavelle and Ron. And I woke up and you're like, all these text messages, what happened? I was like, oh, I like woke up. And I was supposed to, my alarm was set for 3:30 in the morning. And I woke up at 2:45 to use the restroom. And I was like, all right, I'm going to just put my head back down. I had alarm set. I slept through my alarm and you were just like, yep, dude, no sympathy. I've had to be up at 3 in the morning for interviews all the time.
You see my Twitter timeline now. I've been trying to answer user questions, but I do so many hours of development work and meetings. And then by the time I get to film, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and I have dark circles under my eyes and no makeup. And I'm still there trying to answer people's questions. It's like, I've given up. I'm going to sleep when this project delivers. When it delivers and we have, you know, our first 3 million users and everything's functioning well for a week, then I'm going to sleep like the sleeping dead. Sleep with the dead.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Suzie, and tell everybody I said hello, and we will obviously talk soon.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, see you again soon. Bye, everybody.
Awesome. All right. Bye, Suzie. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at grahamelwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.